To another edition of Good Morning Anambra right here on ABS TV. My name is Chidimma Oramwa. I hope you enjoyed your weekend because it's a Monday morning, a brand new week, and we pray that it's going to be a blessed week for all us all. All right, this morning I'm not alone in the studio. I have my colleague seated with me this morning, the person of Arjulu Chukwu Okabwe. Good morning, Arjulu.
Good morning, Chidimma. Good morning, Divine. Good morning, viewers out there. Wishing you a very, very fresh start into the new week. And then, what else than to bring you the newspaper review this morning? Stay tuned, relax, and enjoy what we have for you.
All right, we're going to take a short break now. When we come back, we're going to introduce our guests and go straight into the press review. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. Glad to have you on the show this morning. Our guest seated with us in the studio this morning are Maxim Ozato. He is a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you, Chidimma. Good day, Anambra.
All right, we also have Onyeka Obieze. He's also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Onyeka.
Anambra.
All right. Okay. Quickly, let's start with the stories that are trending on our website this morning. That is ABS website. The first story we have there. National Association of the Blind holds a leadership training at Abagana. North Council Transition Committee Chairman tax of federal government on new youth policy. Defense headquarters caution against the circulation of false information. Okay, these are the stories we have trending on our website this morning. Maxim, let's start with you. Let's start with the story of Defense Headquarters cautioning against circulation of false information.
I think this is very funny because if you are talking about something like coup, that's the more rampant one. You hear about coup and you're the Defense Headquarters and you don't do about it. You are telling the public. You are going to the media. As far as I'm concerned, it's infantile. The truth of the matter is maybe they wrote the stories by themselves through all these propaganda machines of the ruling powers. So they want a situation where like you spread paranoia and people will feel like, oh, these people are just being hard done by. This is in their domain. You have all the coercive instruments of power, authority and all that. Somebody talks about it, you report it to the police and is arrested because this is a democracy. There is military subordination to civil authority. But now you are spreading out, telling us that there are rumors, fake news, and all this. Who are the guys to investigate it? Please, they should tell us another story. If they have to do their work, let them do their work and stop overheating the polity for whatever reasons.
All right, thank you so much for that. Let's quickly look at last week that should be on Friday. We celebrated International Youth Day. So now, North Council Transition Committee Chairman is taxing federal government on new youth policy.
Of course, the youths are supposed to be given the utmost support in whatever they do, knowing that they are the youths, the leaders of tomorrow. They are tomorrow also, not even leaders of tomorrow. Because if we talk about leaders of tomorrow in Nigeria, I don't think it's the leaders of tomorrow remains the old men. Because as long as Nigeria is concerned, you cannot tell somebody, if at my age now, I'm in the 50s, I still don't have access to what I'm supposed to have as a youth. And the people in the 80s and 90s are occupying the whole space. So we are no more talking about the youth of tomorrow. Youth becoming the leaders of tomorrow. We are talking about the older people becoming the elders of tomorrow. So what will happen is, if the government can review the policy, and there should be a retirement age. If somebody is in the civil service for 35 years, you are supposed to retire. So how can somebody that is 90 still be in the government? Somebody that is 80 is still in the government. Why you, by your policy, you said that once you have served 35 years, you are no more supposed to be in the active service. Let's say somebody is 20 or 25 when he graduated from the university. Now, plus 35 years, is now 50. So the person is retired at 50. And somebody at 80 is still in the space. So what will that 50 years old person do? So the policies, the whole thing is supposed to be overhauled and changed. You know, the new policies should be, once you are this age, even from 70, you don't contest any election in Nigeria again. So that you give space to the upcoming ones. Now, look at the list of the ministers. There's no young person there. People who are 8 years in the governor, as a governor. It's not a minister. Somebody is 8 or 16 years in the National Assembly. It's not a minister. So where is the space for the youth? And now, our youth are engaged in so many things that are not good. The next thing is to kill them, burn them, use gun against them. I don't know what they want this country to turn to. We need things to be changed. We're asking of a new Nigeria that is supposed to be born. We're still shouting about that. And now the government is now, if you check the ministerial list, you see, there's no single person that is less than 50 years there.
Okay, so you're advocating for all-inclusive government, whereby...
Well, I'm saying that the old people should retire.
Okay.
Let the young people run with this thing. The age now is not the time you bring in old people. How can an old man run to the gate now in the next 20 minutes? A young man can do it 5 minutes. And the age now, internationally, see, every system is changing. People are changing, running with the youth.
But it's not just in Nigeria. I can understand your segment. What's the place of experience when we talk about people that are experienced in a particular area that we still need them?
See, even in your house, your dad is there. He knows he can do this, he can do it, yet he is engaging you to do it because he knows he's handing over to you. In your family, if your father is a farmer, he's not giving up the farm. Rather, he uses young ones to. The only thing he does is to supervise them. Do this, because of tomorrow. So if you bring somebody that is old and put in the space, is there a young man that is supposed to supervise them? The system is strong.
All right, let's quickly go to the first paper we have for the day.
Well, thank you for that submission. And the first paper we have for a review this morning is the Daily Sun, and the banner headline there is still talking about Niger Republic coup, leaders open up. And then the writer there says, fault ECOWAS for not having patience to hear their side of the story before issuing ultimatums. Express readiness for peace talks. Dialogue, diplomacy should be priority, and that's coming from Obi. And then we have here, Bakare attacks APC Tinubu, claims government sanctions, decisions impulsive, urges president to kill corruption, not Nigerians. Hoodlums raise monarchs' houses, vehicles in Imo. And Niger, PDP accuses APC government of dragging Nigeria to needless war. And then we have Naira. CBN spends 155 billion Naira on RT200 Naira for dollar in 2 years. NJC dismisses fake letter allegedly surrendering powers to governor. And then we have Anambra bans advertisement of traditional medicine. Border closure. We are losing 13 billion Naira weekly. Northern traders cry out. And then drug baroness, 4 kingpins arrested as NDLEA boss 3 syndicates in Lagos. Abia bans Okada Keke in Umuahia, Aba. Igbo town unions urge Tinubu to free Kanu in line with court judgment. That's and more are what we have for you on our front page of the Daily Sun this morning. Godson. Let's see what we are talking about. We were talking about giving youth, how will I say, a chance. And then we're talking about the imminent danger if this coup were to actually take place. I mean, this Nigeria's retaliation to reclaim democracy in Niger Republic, if it were actually to take place, what do you think would happen to this Nigerian youth that you're clamoring for inclusion?
See, right now, the number of guns in the hands of the youth are much. There is war. We even have
that is within the confines of Nigeria, not even the borders, or is that what you're saying?
Inside Nigeria, because Nigeria and Nigeria, what's the border? There's no demarcation. There's no clear demarcation. And you know, what is going to happen is, I am even asking them, you are blaming the coup plotters, but you are not blaming what cost them to go and take over the government. Our African leaders are just like emperors. Once you are there, you become God. How many years has that guy been in government there? Now you are blaming, it's just like somebody caused a problem because he slapped somebody. You blame the person for slapping, but you don't know, you don't ask what is the cost. Why is he slapping you? So they cannot, just like what the leader is saying, that ECOWAS was not patient enough to listen to them. You can't just declare war on them. You should ask questions. They're all human beings.
So what's your take about seeking dialogue and diplomacy?
That's the best.
That's the best.
That's the best. You can't force them to. They are sovereign nations anyway. They know what's best for them. The only thing you can do, and you don't even force them to return that man back. Because they have their reasons. How can you say the minute you took over and the whole country is rejoicing, and you still want them to bring that same man back? If the whole of these people are rejoicing because the minute you took over, that is to say they were crying when the man was there. And you're asking them to return the man. How? You don't do such things. If the countries were crying because this man left, that would be a different thing. But they were all rejoicing, jumping up and down, hailing the soldiers for doing that. And you want to bring the man back to them. All you need to do is to either call them and say, listen, this guy, okay, go. But, Oga, we don't want military rules again. Give us transition programs. Maybe in the next 1 year, you are handing over. Or in the next 2 years, you are handing over. That is the only negotiation that I think is reasonable. How can you ask them to go and bring back the same man that put people in trouble?
Yeah, we have is this. That's the thing we have refused to, whether in Nigeria or Niger or anywhere. You do things you call elections, and they are not elections. Somebody, in fact, I was interviewing this man who killed Samuel Yomi Johnson. He said, like African leaders like glue, to put the glue, right. And so they will sit down and they can never go. So you do an election and you score more than 100% votes, and you are in power, and the people are angry. They don't ever vote into power. And now when you are removed, whether through a coup or violence or whatever, people will now come and talk about democracy. It doesn't make sense. Like he's saying, look, people are rejoicing now. And this is a man who supposedly won an election and was fraternizing with Buhari of Nigeria when Buhari was in power. And Buhari was telling us that, look, he can always go over to Niger. You find it's the same process. We are not sincere with ourselves. You do these elections, kangaroo this thing and all that, and you want the thing to stand. One way or the other, something must give. That's nature.
All right, quickly, let's go back to the next paper this morning. That's the National Star newspaper. And in the front page, as the banner headline, we have, we are ready for negotiation with ECOWAS, Niger military leader. Federal government launches manhunt for coup promoters. Traders lose 13 billion naira revenue weekly to border closure. Arewa Economic Forum. PDP accuses APC of warmongering. And then we have down there, Serap drags Akpabio Abbas before Lagos court over 110 billion naira bulletproof cars. Nigeria's food prices surged by 30% in June, MBS. Military received no call to Scorto Democracy Defense Headquarters. I'm still in the front page of the National Star newspaper. We have coordinated NAF airstrikes hit IPOB camps, oil thieves in Niger Delta. In 76 days, Tinubu increased poverty, wiped out businesses. Obi alleges. NDLEA arrests Baroness, 4 Lagos big boys and bust 3 syndicates. And then we still have new special police squad to address insecurity and criminality. This is coming from Inspector General of Police. God's own. You have a whole lot in the front page of National Star newspaper. So,
just like we were saying, they said they are ready for negotiation, which is the best. So the best thing for the ECOWAS to do is to call them, sit down with them, and tell them to do something about the handing over to civil government. But trying to force them will cause, and I am telling people who cares to listen to me, there is no way these people will love us more than we love ourselves. How can the West come and be telling you, remove this? Remove him for what? They will come back now and start extracting all we have in Africa in the name of supplying guns, supplying ammunition. Why we are hungry, you are giving us guns. For what? Give us food, give us things that will help us. Develop our place. You will not do that. You just to supply guns, supply ammunition. Don't worry, we'll give you arms. Give you arms for what? To kill yourselves, right? We are not interested in that. If they want to help, let them come up with something that will help us. They are taking our minerals. Everybody is aware of that. And now, the place you are taking these things are dungeon. You that is taking it is living in heavens. And you are promising us another heaven that is in the sky. While you are living in the heaven on earth. It doesn't make sense. So they should negotiate with them and not threaten them with anything.
What's the story of Sarah dragging Akpabio Abbas before Lagos court over 110 billion naira, not even million, billion naira bulletproof cars?
You know, the ruling party, in the course of the elections, they were always telling you, go to court. Go to court. Once you do something wrong, you tell the person, go to court. So like Serap is doing his duty ordinarily in a democracy, it's about going to court to get. But the people know that you can't do them anything. It's like they've corrupted the entire system. So the entire system is rotten. Even if you go to court, even if you get a judgment, the judgment is not implemented. Or it's even in the force that you will not even get a judgment. But look at this thing you are talking about, somebody like Akpabio. You are talking about 110 billion for bulletproof cars. In a country where the minimum wage is what? And it's not even being paid. The other day he was telling them, oh, let the poor breed. Those who want to say I, say I. He make it into a joke. And this is the senior president of a country. The next one, you're telling the senators and everything, and look, hey, we sent some token for you to enjoy your holidays. And you look at the whole thing and say, is this man responsible enough to be the senior president of a country that's in dire straits like we are now? Now, tomorrow, if something happens in this country, people will start blaming, because that's the kind of thing that happened even from the First Republic. You see people flaunting wealth, behaving irresponsibly. And then if you kick aside from there, people will now start reading whether tribal or ethnic or whatever reasons. It was something that somebody who was doing it from the one knew that you will crash. Like a car, a driver, driving recklessly across it. You will crash. It's obvious.
Let's take two papers because of want on time. And then the next papers we have for review is the Daily Times. The banner headline there is a fuel subsidy protest, security watch on, NLC-TUC leaders. And in Ijeku, threat of war begins to fade. The writer there says, Nigeria are brothers and sisters, says coup leader. Tension grips Bayelsa community over military invasion. Bayelsa professionals to Tinubu, keep off November 11 Guba to avoid bloodshed. And then the rider there says, don't interfere in Bayelsa Guba pools, group tells Tinubu. Governor in sacking spree of royal fathers, you find that on the banner of the Daily Times. And quickly, let's go to the Daily Independent and tell you what we have there. The banner headline, they're still talking about CBN Naira float may crash in a short time. That's experts warning. And then the rider there says Nigeria not ripe to operate currency floats. Another saying devaluation affecting productivity, manufacturing. And we are ready for dialogue, Niger Republic junta says coup averted threat against Nigeria. Diplomacy remains overreaching imperative. That's coming from Obi. Otudeko behind court order stopping First Bank AGM shareholders allege. Serap sues Akpabio Abbas over 110 billion naira spending on cars and others. And Niger NLC Council ECOWAS on military intervention. Aviation College outreach over missing 4.750 billion naira. 2 trainee helicopters. And then the rider there says Senator queries rector petitions National Assembly. Helicopters were duly auctioned, rector claims. And then Tinubu has plunged Nigeria into chaos. That's coming from Bakare. And then participants to open dollar account with CBN for settlement of in-country forex funds transfer. And that's much of what we have on those two papers. Quickly, let's go and talk about the CBN Naira float may crash in a short time, experts warning. What do you have to say about that?
Look, the truth of the matter is that this impulsive way of ruling the country, like when the president said, oh, fuel subsidy is gone, then tomorrow you say you are floating your currency, when it's not backed by any export or anything. The currency will sink into a hole. It has happened in all other countries in the world. Whether you go to Venezuela, whether you go to Zimbabwe, whether you go, even theirs, at least there was a state. But look at Nigeria's own. It was just like an instant, a man decides to say something that cannot work. Look, you have powers as a president, but not powers of impunity. You have to say things based on available factors and figures. You have not checked what will make the Naira fly when he sees the dollar. It will rather sink. That is the simple of demand and supply. You don't have the supply chain, you don't have anything. You are just saying that the thing will float. And most of these things, look, you have to find a situation where our leaders are being teleguided by powers they don't understand. When they say the Washington Consensus, or even the World Bank and all the IMF things, these are things that will never work in our country because they make sure they kill all our productive capacities. And then they bring in all their products and all that. So we continue to demand their...
But less than 2 weeks ago, we had the president of the World Bank visit Nigeria. Even the DG of the World Trade Organization, WTO, was also in Nigeria. They were all proffering solutions on how to bail Nigeria out of the quagmire financially that we are in now.
That is the kind of things you see. Look, I think there was
those visits, are they not a step in the right direction based on this? Or do we need the president, that is Tinubu, to have his minister, his cabinet? Then they can now say, okay, fine, let us put the machineries in place so that we can get these things working. Look, because as it stands now, he's the only one acting as both the Minister of Finance and then all whatever paraphernalia you have in the ministry department.
One day I had General Abacha of blessed memory. He said something once, because no matter whatever you say about even Abacha, at least even as people condemn him, I didn't know, he said, look, these white men will encourage us to fight wars against ourselves, and they will start giving us biscuits. So when you see like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, but she's working for the world, and she's working for all these powers. You bring in a placeman as the president of a country, And you now come like this thing Abacha said about giving them biscuits. When what you have is anarchy, chaos in the whole system, the entire system. You come in now and you like a do-gooder. Hey, if you do this and do that, it's just like buying time. You are not addressing the fundamental questions. And this idea about you bringing ministers, who are the people who appointed ministers? Look at the ministerial list there. These are what in the street palace we call job man. Put me there, anything you want me to do, I will do. They will not put people who will challenge the system. For instance, during even Abacha's time, Sam Aluko was there. And the thing he and Abacha reached is, look, no matter whatever you do, Professor, don't let the Naira fall below 82 Naira to the dollar. And as long as he was in power there, it was, so like you can have some kind of stability in the market. If you go to America and the price changes by 1 cent, people will commit suicide if it's not planned properly. So, but our own is like, we stay here now and take dictation from, so when a World Bank fellow comes here, he says, hey, our economy is doing well.
Okay,
excuse me, let me add something. The truth about the whole thing is, every currency is backed up with something. What is backing our own? We have oil. UAE had oil. Abu Dhabi only have oil. That is the only thing that is backing their money. I went to UAE in the 90s. Their money is still 3.6 till today. 3.6 to $1 till today. Kuwaiti money is $3.5 to 1 Kuwaiti dinar. Oil is oil. All these people have oil. Bahrain, the same thing. Oman, the same thing. And our own, I don't know what the usefulness of our oil. We have every kind of minerals in Nigeria. They are not backing our currency. They are just floating it. Floating. Okay, be going. No problem. How can somebody say 1 Naira, $2 was 1 Naira before? $2 was 1 Naira. I started using dollar when dollar was 5 Naira to 1 Naira. 5 Naira to $1. Today, it's left from 5 Naira. That I'm telling you when I started using dollar, not how it was before. From 5 Naira, it get to 10 Naira. Babangida brought it to 18 Naira to 22 Naira. Then before he left, it was 54 Naira. Then Abacha took it to 82 Naira. Obasanjo was 120. And it was 120 to 150 till Jonathan left. And today, it's 1,000 Naira to $1.
Because we still have other papers that we are going to.
So you are floating something that has no balance.
Now, viewers, just to let you know that you can be part of a discussion ongoing in the studio this morning. All you need to do is just to dial the number displayed in front of your television set. Quickly, let's go over to the next two papers talking about This Day and the Nation's newspaper. Let's start with This Day newspaper this morning. The big story there in front of This Day, UN, EU raised the alarm about Bazoum's detention conditions and safety. And we have the writers there says the post-president is exposed to inhuman, degrading treatment in violation of international human rights law. Coup leaders brandishing threats of killing Bazoum in the event of military intervention. Coup supporters protest near French military base. ECOWAS cautions Russia against involvement of Wagner Group. And then we still have Obaseki, my deputy plotted coup against me. He's so desperate. Says Shaibu, frantic to succeed him at all costs. Court stops FBN, that is First Bank of Nigeria, from holding their AGM. With $17 billion net reserves, CBN's audited account shows $13.8 billion exposure to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, FX Forward, introduces framework for in-country FX transfers to remove barriers. Okay, let's also see what we have in the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Okay, shock Outrage over CBN's $15 billion foreign debt. Apex Bank's outstanding litigation liabilities hit 56.4 trillion naira. Naira for dollar, RT200 projects goal 141 billion naira. We'll never deploy sit at home again for our agitation, coming from IPOB. Defense headquarters lambasts agitators for cure in Nigeria. Niger, ECOWAS parliament divided on military option. New Ekiti commissioner suspended. Then we still have Lagos Governorship Tribunal reserves judgment in petition against Sanwo-Olu and Hamzat. Shaibu denies planning coup against Obaseki. Okay, these are the stories trending on both papers this morning. Maxim.
Well, this shock outrage over CBN's $15 billion foreign debt. We are still in the same APC government. And nobody is being called to account. Like this idea about you just take only a Emefiele and put in custody, whatever. And nothing is being done about the whole network of even the president at that time. Because it's from Buhari, between Buhari and the CBN was last audited during Jonathan's time. It has not been audited in these 8 years. And now you are talking about CBN owing 15 billion that like the government doesn't know about. That's like insider training. Like you come in and you get some bagmen and all that, and you siphon money away and say you are owing, and we are all culpable in paying. How can a country be run like this? And tomorrow we'll be waiting for hope or whatever, renewed hope or whatever. Simple and short, if you want to tackle corruption, go to the heart of corruption like these things you are revealing by yourself about the government that is still the same party. Now you have these unbelievable stories of the former EFCC chairman appointed by the former president being put inside jail. And then the governor he was trying to prosecute Matawale. He's now a minister. This is in public domain. And that's the way you find most of these ex-governors or whatever. They are all on the EFCC list. And now they are like our potential ministers. So when you see things like this, you can understand that it's organized rape of a country. And we are still stuck in it. So no matter the stories they tell you and all that, they are not sincere about tackling these problems.
I think we are in an era of coup. Obaseki is alleging that his deputy wants to succeed and he planned a coup against him. But what we're seeing on the front page of Nation, of course, their trading was him saying that he did not do anything. Godson, what's your thought?
That one is the problem. I'm not talking about their own. My issue now is, why are they crying over the Obazon award, human treatment for him? Why there are millions of Niger people moving around without food? That was not inhuman enough. Without accommodation, without security, without shelter, without feeding. And only one man. Everybody is crying, is inhuman. So other people are less Niger people than him. Or what? What I know is that these people should stop whatever they want to do. Let them go ahead and do it, and should not drag everybody inside it. I don't believe what they're saying, and I will never believe that.
Okay, quickly, let's go take the next two papers for review this morning, which is The Guardian and then the Vanguard. And then the banner headline we have for you in The Guardian is saying, investigate the CBN Fiscal Irresponsibility Act. Did I get that correctly? Fiscal Responsibility Act, yeah. Investigator probes CBN staff, consultant NIBSS, NSPMC. You'll find that on page 6 of The Guardian. Ministerial nomination as litmus test for APC in Southeast. Still on Niger, military succumbs to dialogue, says coup in Nigeria interest. Tinubu's reform will fail without economic justice, ending corruption, says Bakare. And how 66 days of APC plunged Nigeria into further darkness. That's coming from LP. And then we have shareholders point fingers over court order barring FBN, that's First Bank of Nigeria, from holding AGM. House fuel subsidy removal impedes Justice Administration. Quickly, let's see what we have for you on the Vanguard. And then the banner headline is still talking about the coup. We struck to avert threat against Nigeria, coming from Niger. That's General Tiani. And says group coup, well intended, explains why they didn't see Tinubu's delegation led by General Abdulsalami. OK's dialogue as he meets Nigerian Islamic clerics and fight corruption, insecurity, not Niger Republic. Catholic bishops tell federal government. Prioritize dialogue. Diplomacy Obi urges federal government and ECOWAS. And kill corruption, not Nigerians, Bakari tells Tinubu. And then we have we never received any coup request, says military high command. Serap Suze Akpabio, we've read, talked about that. Fuel price hike looms as landing cost rises by 37.4%. Why I was retired as permanent sec at 48, Oyegun, ex-APC chairman. NUC denies ceding powers on judges, appointments, promotions to government, and then we have Budapest 2023, talking about sports. Toby Amoson's fate hangs in the balance, and that's the much we have here. Shaibu manipulated NYC election for Edo governorship ambition. That's coming from Obaseki. I think this Obaseki and the deputy, they are fighting dirty this time around.
You begin to wonder why most of these governors will not want their deputy
to succeed. I sometimes begin.
It's all part of the, when we talk about the Nigerian malaise, when like they were fighting against Shomole and all these other things, they were like a tag team.
Yeah.
But now it comes to Obaseki going and Shuaibu taking over, it becomes another matter entirely. So the governance process is not really something regulated in that sense of doing it for the good of the people.
People, yeah.
So it's just personality cult, like I want to be governor. And the governor says, who is this, my deputy? One day I'll be looking at him as the governor of the state. So you want to now bring a proper surrogate, maybe from anywhere, and make the person governor. And every day you will be saying, oh, according to my predecessor, the man who put me here. So eventually it's not a question about trying your popularity with the people. The election process is being manipulated. So like, because you are the governor, you choose for the people who will be your replacement. So that's why maybe the deputy is trying everything to get the endorsement of the governor or something like that. And then the governor wants to like impeach him to make sure he's out of the process and all that.
What happens to the process of party?
That's the whole thing. The thing is that like eventually it's just personality cult. If you are made a governor today, you will see that even your grandfathers will wake up from the grave to come and worship you. And like you will feel happy about it. So that's the kind of thing we are stuck with in Nigeria here.
Because for the governor to come up and say that his deputy forged
like,
a certificate.
When he's saying
you
that
guys
he's even doing a coup against him because it's like military now. We're no longer talking about democracy.
Yeah.
You're talking about coup now. So it means that you're like a military head of state. That imagine this with his soldiers trying to unseat me to a coup.
No, he used that word so that you understand the magnitude of what the guy is doing.
But
but if that be the case, two of them should go.
No, the government is already on the way.
He's already on this.
Forged certificate.
They said manipulated NYSC certificate.
Not NYSC, NYCN.
NYCN election.
National
Yeah,
Council of Nigeria election, so that the position people who will now ensure he's there. That kind of, but so,
But the governor was there when he was in.
no, at the end
was
of
done for their benefit that time. So why is he coming up with it?
you see, we are stuck. That's the problem.
The thing is, the governance in Nigeria is so much with benefits. That is the problem. You cannot imagine when you get out of this continent and goes to other continents. If somebody that is serving the people will just be saying things anyhow. Look at them. A local government chairman is moving with trail of cars. How much more governor? A governor is going with like, if a governor is going here now, from Aroma to Amobia, is the lineup of the cars.
You're even talking about governor. Student union government in schools, they have convoys now with uniformed security guards. Oh. So that's the thing, like when you are talking about the youth, the thing you are passing on to the youth.
That is what they saw.
No, that's the whole thing. That's the kind of thing they are passing on.
That's what they saw.
The only people they will select are people who will behave like them, because it's still being selected from up top.
Okay, quickly, let's also see this Bakare warning. We've seen that in almost all the papers read out this morning, where he's telling President Tinubu to kill corruption, not Nigerians.
Yes, now, because if you are sending Nigerians to Nigeria to go and fight, you are killing them. When you have a better battle and war in Nigeria, which is killing the corruption and giving a better space to Nigerians, now instead, let the poor breathe fresh air. The fresh air is for everybody, not only for the poor. If the poor are not fed well, you, the rich man, you are not going to feed well. Because if ndị Igbo si na nwata ekworo ka mama ya lara ụla, okoba anya n'elu, ọ yesobukwa ya. So if the government and the operators have not fed Nigerians and they are hungry and you want to go and sleep, how can you sleep?
All right, quickly, let's see what we have in the last two papers of Daily Trust and the Nigerian Tribune. Those are our last papers this morning. ECOWAS, Niger's junta begins talk soon. That's a big story in front of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Then we still have up there, road crashes claim 4,387 lives in 6 months. Diversion of diaspora remittances contributing to Naira crash. This is coming from CBN. Farmers flee as bandits invade Niger villages. And then Kano holds a fee increment by private schools. Gombe Bauchi Road Bridge collapses after downpour. Overhead tank collapses and kills teacher in Edo State. Quickly, let's go back to the Nigerian Tribune. Niger crisis. Arewa Forum laments 13 billion naira weekly loss to border closure. Niger coup leaders ready for dialogue with ECOWAS. We've seen that. And then under that Arewa Forum lamentation, we can see they are saying more than 2,000 trucks of perishable goods trapped at borders. Diversion of flight from Niger airspace has not affected fares. Nanta president. Subsidy, Tinubu puts the cart before the horse. This is still from Bakare. I procured guns from police inspector. Armed robbery. Okay, armed robbery suspect alleges in Ogun State. And then NICOM latches on $25 trillion global Takaful insurance for market expansion. Okay, these and many more are what we have in the front pages of the Daily Trust and Nigerian Tribune this morning.
I will link the Arewa Forum laments weekly loss to border closure. Yes. This thing impinges on what even Bakare is saying, that putting the cart before the horse. You come in and say this is that it's supposed to be a policy or whatever, you're addressing an issue without checking the countervailing forces. If you come and say you're closing the border with Niger, it's not only Niger people, because there's cross-border business and all that. Yes. And you're not thinking of your own people. That look at what there are Nigerians there who cross always every time, and that's the business they do for a living. And they have perishable goods like tomatoes and all these other things. And now you're talking about losing 1.3 billion already. It's because this is not total property. You go and switch off their lights like an angry landlord without knowing that this will affect every other thing on both sides of the distance.
Undermine the contract.
So even the coup leader is now telling that even the coup they wanted to help Nigeria, because any threat to Niger is a threat to Nigeria too.
Of course.
So these are some of the things our leaders should think of before you come and say things you think you are punishing somebody. because maybe you see an ant in your house, you burn down the entire house because you want to kill a rat in a corner of the house. That's what we're doing, and it's wrong anyway.
Right, quickly, Godson, what do you have to say about Kano halting increment of school fees in Kano State? I mean, this is happening in private schools there.
Private schools, even the government schools, have their own price.
No, do you think that them halting the increment, that is a right step in the right direction?
Yes.
Owing to what we are facing now?
Yeah, they should stop it. You can't come up, okay, the salaries now is still 30,000, the minimum wage. And your child, you have 2 or 3 children in the school. Like I saw one in the social media, one guy at University of Lagos. He went and said, how can I spend 140,000 to study Kote? And Kote is fish.
Okay.
He studied fish. He came to the market and was showing them. They said we should pay 130,000 to study Kote. He was calling the fish names in Yoruba. He said it's not possible for him to do that. Now you are telling me you are paying somebody 30,000 and now you have increased the school fees. How does the person go about it? I have said this in several times. Remove the fuel subsidy and let the subsidy goes to food, education, and health. That is how people should do. Now you remove fuel subsidy. You are increasing everything in Nigeria. How does people work with this? Like you import things, you bought things 2 months ago at 500, 600 naira per dollar. Today, maybe you must have sold them and you want to import again. Dollar is 1,000 naira. How do you manage this? So I don't know who advises all these things and which school they have gone to study their economics. One day somebody was saying, I came to a bank to do something. One man said he's a professor. He was telling us that the Niger Delta people are the cause of this bad economy. And I say, okay, don't tell me Niger Delta people. Because why? If you are talking about what has fuel done to crude oil, have you ever seen money that came into Nigeria because of crude oil? You have not seen it. Is these people running the system here that's managing the economy? Mama Put, Akara Woman, Keke, Okada. They are the ones running the economy. Not the fuel, not the crude oil. And you're telling me about Niger Delta people. How many times have you seen the money, they say this money came because of crude oil to Nigeria? How many times have you seen it? But we can see that Mama Put will go to the market today, buy those things, come and cook, and sell to the people. Tomorrow he's going to the market again to go and give the money again, he collected. That is how to run the economy. Therefore, that is why advanced countries and the better people that think well, you see them giving people money to traders, to business people. When I was living in UAE, let me tell you what they do. You will sit down, they'll be calling you to give you a loan. Today they give you $10,000. The day the money, your credit card will be $100,000. You don't even know. All you know is that you spending and paying, spending and paying. When there was crackdown, I will tell you when there was crushed down, this international money problem, what UAE government was doing is giving money to people. Giving money to people. And that is what made them to come up quickly. But here, for you to get loan from bank, you go and call your grandmother in the grave to come and sign for you. And they give you loan at 30%. UAE, they give you loan at 2.9, 3%. And now, how do you use 30% to run business in Nigeria?
All right. I want to say a very big thank you to both of you. Thank you so much, Onyeka and Godson Obieza, for joining us on the show this morning.
You are great and welcome. God bless you.
And also Maxim Ozato, thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Nanambra.
Well, that's it on Press Review this morning. I want to say a very big thank you to you for being part of the show. But we're going to take a short break. We'll see you at the other side. Stay with us.
My daughter is back home!
I hear say they don't fire you for your work. And as I see you so, hunger don't they hold you. I think this is the opportunity where we go take talk to my yoga.
You want this fake 1,000? Collect my 900 naira thing. Plus my bread, you be thief.
Ibukun, you will use what you have to get what you want.
They said we have till month end to complete our clearance. If not, they will forfeit our admission.
My name is Desmond. Desmond Oluwolaga. Do you want to fight me?
If you touch me, I go tell everybody say that you dey supply fake money.
You will talk to Ibukun for me. Are you? See, let me tell you something. If you can talk to Ibukun for me and she agreed to marry me, I will make you a millionaire.
Keke, why junction drop?
Enter 2,000.
Hey, wahala. Keke, I don't say where you carry me go London or now. Why junction here?
2,000 naira because this is where I get my tax money from.
I don't be taxed. Who they pay tax?
I used to pay state government tax every month.
Hey.
You know they pay tax.
Wetin be tax, I beg?
Well, I used to pay state government tax every month. This money they pay me now. I will come on my tax money from. Because that tax what would they pay. And that money government they use, they develop our state so that our state will be like another state. I enter 1.5, let's go. Because the government has reduced our money to 10,000 naira. Enter, let's go. 1.5.
Now wow.
May you try to pay your tax. So.
My people, una don't hear am now. Now today I dey hear this one. Me I get boutique where I dey sell something. He said when you pay your tax, the government will beautify our state and the roads and infrastructural development.